All right, let's dive into a really fun story. It's got knights, dragons, and, well, underwear. And believe it or not, it's a super deep take on what it actually means to be a hero. And it all kicks off with a pretty weird question.
Yeah, I know. It's a weird one. But stick with me, because the answer kind of flips the script on how we think about facing our monsters. You know, the real ones and the ones in our heads. So let's get into it, starting with our main guy.
So our story doesn't start with some big, muscle-bound hero. Nope, it starts with a kid named Cole. And his big dream? It's not even to be the top knight. He wants to be a great assistant knight. And his plan is to use his brain and a ton of hard work to get there.
Now, you gotta forget everything you think you know about those stiff, stoic knights from the old legends. Because in this version of Camelot, the knights are, well, they're really emotional. And this isn't just some funny little detail, it's super important. It totally sets the stage for a new way of solving problems.
I mean, look at this. This world makes being vulnerable totally normal, which is so cool. These knights will cry at sad plays, when they're cutting onions, even when a wizard hurts their feelings. And it's never shown as a weakness. It's just a sign that they value empathy. And that's the perfect place for a hero like Cole to show up.
So right here, you can see the big clash of ideas in the story. You've got your classic knights, all about fighting and being strong, and then you've got Cole, who's all about being smart and working hard. It's really that age-old battle, brute force versus, actually thinking things through.
Okay, so let's check out Cole's apprenticeship, because this is where it gets really interesting. His training with Sir Percival isn't just about swinging a sword. It's like a whole education in what it really takes to back up a hero.
In his to-do list, it just says it all, doesn't it? I mean, sure, he's sharpening swords and axes, but he's also sharpening pencils. He's not just some squire. He's an artist. He's a therapist for knights having dragon nightmares. He's even a catapult test dummy. His skill set is just, wow, all over the place.
So right when Cole's getting the hang of things, the absolute worst-case scenario happens. That thing his mentor, Sir Percival, has nightmares about, it becomes real. The underwear dragon shows up and just starts tearing the kingdom apart. And what happens next? Well, pretty much what you'd expect. Every single knight grabs their sword and charges straight at the dragon. And what happens to them? Every single one of them gets taken out. The old-fashioned way just completely fails. It proves totally useless, which leaves this huge opening for a new kind of hero to step in.
So, with all the classic heroes out of the picture, it's all up to Cole. But he figures out pretty quick that this isn't some simple good guy versus bad guy fight. Oh no, the problem here is way more complicated than just some big angry monster. At first, Cole actually does it. He uses all his training and manages to beat the dragon in a fight. He even launches him with a catapult right out of his underwear. The whole kingdom is celebrating. But that victory doesn't last long. Why? Because the real reason the dragon was acting out hadn't been solved at all.
Sure enough, the dragon comes back. And that's when Cole realizes, okay, fighting is not the answer here. There's something else going on, something deeper that's making this dragon so destructive. And it's definitely not something a sword is going to fix. And here it is. This is the big reveal. The underwear dragon isn't evil. He just can't read. He's been wrecking the whole kingdom because he couldn't read signs that said stuff like no dragons allowed. He was just lashing out because he was deeply, deeply embarrassed and ashamed.
And his shame is so real that when Cole finds him again, the dragon literally tries to pretend he's a giant duck just to avoid admitting the truth. It's hilarious, right? But it's also a pretty powerful look at how embarrassment can make us try to hide who we really are.
So, what does Cole do? He puts down his sword and picks up a book. The real battle isn't against a dragon, it's against ignorance. And the best weapon for that fight? Education.
And listen, this wasn't some quick fix. Cole's approach was super patient, step by step. He started with the absolute basics, the ABCs, building up the dragon's confidence one letter at a time. It shows that this kind of battle needs persistence and empathy, not just raw power.
And man, it was hard. Learning a new skill when you're older or, an adult dragon is really frustrating. At one point, the dragon gets so mad at himself that he just torches the book with his fire breath. And it seems like it's all over. A total failure.
But right when it looks like they're about to give up, help arrives. This other assistant in training, Claire, shows up with a fire extinguisher. It's all about teamwork, right? And this gives Cole a new idea.
He changes his strategy, finds a new book, this one with cool pictures, to get the dragon interested again. They don't quit, they adapt.
And all this brings us to the end of the story, which gives us this really powerful new way of looking at what it means to be a knight and what strength really is.
I mean, just look at the transformation. It's incredible. He goes from being this public menace driven by shame to being a student who feels fantastic about himself. He's not destroying the kingdom anymore, he's reading a book. This is so much more than a victory. It's a total turnaround, and it all happened because of a little understanding. And Cole, well, he gets knighted for it. He becomes Sir Cole. But his greatest achievement, the thing that makes him a true hero, isn't slaying a monster, it's teaching one. He proved that sometimes the greatest strength is just patience, and the most powerful weapon you can have is knowledge.
And the best part? Cole doesn't just keep this amazing lesson to himself, he makes it official. He asks Claire to write the whole story down so he can read it to every knight, every single night. He makes sure this new, more empathetic way of being a hero becomes the new standard for everyone.
So that leaves us with one final thought to chew on. We all have those underwear dragons in our lives, right? Problems or even people that just seem like monsters. But maybe, just maybe, they're not evil. Maybe they're just acting out because they're scared or shamed. And maybe the most heroic thing you can do is put down your sword and figure out what book they might need a little help reading.